Hello and welcome to another pen video from me, Penultimate Dave. So I have here another pen for review, and as you can see, this is an Esterbrook, and it is one of the Gold Rush range of pens. Now, if you don't know, you can see there it is the Gold Rush in black oversize. This has a fine nib. Now, if you don't know, these pens actually have diamond dust actually sort of impregnated into the resin. So these do sparkle quite a bit. So I think let's remove the outer shell of a case there. And you'll see here it comes in this Esterbrook box. It's a fabric material there. Now, some of these actually are magnetic and open up. This one is a slide drawer. So if I open that drawer, you will see a number of things here. The first is you get a polishing cloth there from Kenro Industries with the Esterbrook logos on it. You get a cartridge. You also, in this one, get a washi tape roll there. This was part of the Gold Rush series. And then you have the pen. So let's remove all of this out of the way and I will show you this pen in a little bit more detail. So this is a really beautiful pen. Now, this pen has been around for a number of years. I have only just picked it up in 2022. It is a pen that I had wanted for a while, and I just hadn't been buying Esterbrook pens. And in 2022 and, well, 2021, I now have 4 Esterbrook pens, and they are all these diamond cast material. And you can see that diamond cast or diamond dust just sparkling there. This is a very, very, very beautiful model. So I really, really do like this color, and I think I got a good pattern here. Each pattern, each pen is going to be unique. You can see that it has the Esterbrook logo on the cap there. So in terms of the size of this pen, it is an oversized pen. It's not a small pen. You can get some of these models in a regular size. The Sparkle range or Gold Rush range. I think the Gold Rush range they actually did in the regular and the oversize, but the Sparkle range is more oversized, at least at this moment in time. So you can see here it's got a standard Esterbrook clip there. That clip is tight, but it is functional. The cap here tapers down to what would be a cap finial. It's a cigar shape, so there is no finial as such. But it tapers in quite a lot there. Tapers out to what would be a cap band, and that's where you see Esterbrook logo. And then there's a slight step down, and then the body tapers down again to what would be the end cap finial there. Again, nothing really to show, but this material really does sparkle. It is a beautiful material. So if you like a little bit of a sparkle in your pen, but not something that is maybe too aggressive in terms of sparkle, I'd say this is a nice touch. Now, if I unscrew the cap here, first thing to mention is you have these metal threads here. It is a cartridge converter pen. You have, this is a steel nib. It's an Esterbrook nib. It's got a fine nib on it. Now, I could only get this with a fine nib, and I wasn't sure I was going to like it, and I was seriously thinking I would buy another steel replacement medium nib, but this nib writes perfectly out of the box. It is a cartridge converter. It is an oversized pen, so you can see there in the size of my hand, it is quite long. Can I post the cap? I can. It doesn't really post securely, and you can see there that cap does wobble a bit. It will post securely, just not deeply. But if you wanted to post that cap, you could. I don't normally. I find that this is long enough as it is if I'm holding the section. If I wanted to hold it just above the threads, again, it's still pretty long, so I don't have any problems there. It has an ABS plastic feed there on the nib. It is actually a nicely comfortable, I'd say good weight, good size pen for me. It does have this clutch mechanism which can confuse a lot of people. So try to screw it in, it just doesn't screw because you have to push in and twist whilst you're pushing in, and then that clutch engages. The reason being is that stops the nib drying out, so you should be able to not have your nib drying out for longer with this kind of inner cap mechanism there that should help reduce the drying out of the nib. It's a beautiful, beautiful color, beautiful pattern, and I have to say I am really glad that I did buy this and add it to my collection. I really do love this pen. So I think with that, let's do a size check. We'll do a weight check. We'll do a pen comparison, and then we'll do a writing sample. So the full length of the pen, we are looking at about 155 millimeters. So this is a long pen. The length of the cap, we're looking at, I'd say about 70 millimeters. So again, that is a long cap. You don't normally see a lot of pens that long. Now, the length of the body to the tip of the nib or tip of the tines, we are looking about 135 millimeters in length. As I had already mentioned, this is a oversized pen, so it is going to be quite long. I think let's do a weight check. And the full weight of the pen is just over 33 grams. It is inked up, and it is a cartridge converter as well. The weight of the cap, we'll do the cap first actually, it's just 10.78, so just over 10.5 grams in weight. And in the weight of the body, we are looking at, try and stop it rolling, just under 22.5 grams in weight. So that is a nice weight pen for sure. So I think with that, I'll just show you this in a little bit more detail here. But this is actually a really beautiful material. You can just see how that glistens and sparkles. The diamond cast material is a beautiful material made by Mackenzie Penworks in the US. And I have to say, whenever I see a pen made of diamond cast material, I do want to get it because it is a lovely, lovely material normally. So I think with that, let's do a comparison with other pens. So from left to right, we have a Visconti Homo Sapiens London Fog, a Visconti Homo Sapiens Florentine Hills, a Visconti Medici, and this is in the brown. We have a Esterbrook Estie Sparkle. This is an oversize and it's in the garnet. We have an Esterbrook Estie Sparkle in the oversize. This is in the tanzanite. We have a Esterbrook Estie, and this is the Gold Rush in black. We have an Esterbrook Estie, and this is an oversize again, and it's the rocky top. We have a Visconti Chatterley Luxuries Southwest. We have a Visconti Homo Sapiens Blue Lagoon and a Visconti Homo Sapiens Bronze Swirl. So I think with that, let's go and do a writing sample. So this is the Esterbrook. And it's the Estie. And it is the Gold Rush. And it's the oversize in the black. It is a fine, it's a steel nib, it's a Yovo nib. And then the ink in here is a KWZ Old Gold, which is an ink that I haven't written with a lot lately, and I thought I would try and go back to it. I think it's a very nice gold coloured ink. In terms of line variation, you are definitely seeing a Western fine. Now, can I push that nib a bit more? That's as hard as I want to push it. You can probably get a medium line out of it, but this is a steel nib, so you are not going to get a huge amount of line variation out of that nib. You can also see there's no hard starts or skips, which is a very good indication that the nib is actually well tuned. We will do an ink swatch, see how wet that nib is. Now, this is what I would class as a dry ink anyway. It's also a fine nib, so typically fine nibs do write drier as well. So this isn't a super wet writing pen. Certainly not with a fine nib in. If you got this with a medium or broad, I think you would see it write a little bit wetter. You can also change the ink as well. Some ink are a little bit more lubricated as well. What do I like? What do I not like about this pen? Well, it's an Esterbrook Estie. It's an oversize. And I now have 4 of these. So I have to say I do like these. I typically don't like the regular size models. I prefer the oversize. And that's just me. That's a personal preference. I also prefer the materials that have diamond dust in or a diamond cast material. So the regular pattern models just don't interest me as much. So when I see these diamond cast material models in the oversize, that's when it interests me a little bit more. So I like all of that. I like the length of the pen. I like the size. I like the weight. It is a very, very nice pen. I do like this a lot. What do I dislike about the pen? It's a cartridge converter. It can be a pro, it can be a con. Typically, I prefer to have pens inked up with maybe 1.5 to 2.5 milliliters of ink. This is a cartridge converter. It's going to hold 0.7 milliliters of ink. Yes, I can use a Penida pen filler or a Visconti traveling inkwell on the go to refill this pen. However, I just prefer something with a little bit more ink capacity. That said, I still like this pen, and I did buy it, and I did add it to my collection. And this is the Esterbrook Estie Gold Rush. This is the Prospector model in the oversize in the black. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next pen video. Bye-bye.